Hello, my name is Connor Lomas, and today I'm going to share the information products that I've created regarding the functions of emergency management for San Bernardino, California. These information products are located in a mapping portal for quick access. This mapbook template example here shows an area of interest in Washington, D.C. using the United States National Grid, which is a commonly used language for various ground operations. First, it's important to identify the grid zone designation, which is 18S, and the 100,000 meter square identification, which is UJ. You must then read right and then up in order to identify the location of the grid coordinates. We will now look at the San Bernardino County Place Vulnerability Story Map. Place vulnerability analysis is conducted by identifying vulnerable populations of people located in hazard zones. In this case, we will be taking a look at flood hazard zones, as well as the various social vulnerability levels per census tract, as you can see here. And for more information about this and how it's calculated, you can look at this documentation here. So the output of these two layers results in a place vulnerability layer here, as you can see. The most vulnerable communities are shown in this general area. So next we'll take a look at the special needs infrastructure. This shows infrastructure such as schools, nursing homes, and so on. The red triangle hazard symbol represents special needs infrastructures that are located in highly vulnerable areas. Here's an example of a cluster here. So let's take a look at the various community lifelines in San Bernardino County. We can take a look at the safety and security, which includes the fire departments and police stations, medical resources, which includes hospitals and urgent cares, transportation, and so on. It's also very important to be aware of the other hazards that can occur in Southern California. This includes landslide hazards, wildfire hazards, and earthquake hazards. So the damage assessment form for the individual assistance is used to report damages of areas that were impacted by a disaster in a quick and effective way to emergency management authorities. The questions include information about the types of damage, the level of damage, and so on, as you can see here. So next we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Flood Situational Awareness Viewer. For this web application, I'm going to demonstrate how to use a situational awareness widget to show what infrastructures would be impacted in case a flood took place. This widget allows you to analyze the feature information as well. Let's go ahead and use it. And for this particular case, for a flood, we would use a polygon. Draw a big polygon either representing a flood that happened in the past or potential prediction of what would be impacted. So you can see here there are 15 shelters that are impacted with a total population of about 4,700. 15 public schools in this area with a total enrollment of about 6,000 students. And 2 hospitals with a total of 53 beds available. So the Damage Assessment Operations Dashboard was created to keep track, display, and analyze real-time data for the preliminary damage assessment form. So some of the factors shown here include the level of damage that was done, for minor, major, unaffected. The time and date the survey was submitted is right here. The location where the damage was done. This pie chart shows the level of damage that took place from the floods. And 4 of them were minor, 2 of them were major. This galaxy represents the progress of the survey, and there was a total of 6 surveys submitted so far, but the goal is to have 15,000 surveys submitted. So this is the operations response application. It is extremely beneficial for displaying as well as updating incident data to increase situational awareness. Here I've created a representation of an active wildfire impacting the Valley of Enhancement. This demonstration shows a mandatory evacuation zone shown here in red. This also shows, the name of the fire, when it started, so on. The yellow area represents the pre-evacuation zone. These red lines represent the road closures, wildfire itself, as well as other infrastructures that include the shelters that are open and closed. We can also go ahead and add data here. We have the option to add roadblocks, closures, more evacuation notices. We also have the ability to edit these layers. And this can be done in case a wildfire spreads more to the northwest, let's just say. You can expand the evacuation zone toward the necessary areas. So just want to take a look at a particular wildfire that took place in 2006, which was named the Sawtooth Complex Wildfire. This is one of the worst wildfire disasters that's ever taken place in San Bernardino County. So it started out from a lightning strike, and it spread so rapidly due to the fact that a lot of trees were dead due to a pine bark beetle infestation. This layer here represents the Sawtooth Complex Wildfire in 2006, which is approximately 62,000 acres of land and burned for 10 days. These statistics here kind of show the damage and loss from the wildfire, as well as the number of corporates and personnel that were involved with this wildfire situation. So this map here shows the potential for a wildfire to occur again. The layer itself shows the potential risk that could occur from very high to very low. The western area of this wildfire tends to be more, higher potential. And it was actually said a couple years ago, 2006, that this general area is where the wildfire began. Let's take a look at the various infrastructures that lay in these different areas. So if a wildfire were to happen in the same area, we can identify the populated and vulnerable areas by displaying the population density, census tracts with over 3,000 people, as well as place vulnerability. This census tract seems to have the highest risk. Many things we can do, of course, to avoid the activities involving fire and wildfire-prone areas. It's also important to point smoke or fires immediately. This map shows actually a live wildfire layer in California showing active wildfires and how large they are, as well as wildfires that have been contained recently. So next here we have the public information application that can help the general public get an understanding of what to do during an emergency situation and if it is impacting them. So they can do is they can go ahead on the incident information, either type in an address or pinpoint a location, and get an update to see if they're in an evacuation zone for a particular incident, wildfire in this case. I also share this app, share this link to an application as well as embed the application into a website. You can use this on your phone and update it and check on your any tablet device or smartphone as well. Lastly, a storm incident survey was created using Survey 123 for crowdsourcing. Citizens have the ability to easily report issues that occur during and after a storm, such as power outages, property damage, and others. So the storm is, this survey is used, it's very easy to fill out and very quick, and alerts emergency management authorities very quickly where a particular issue is taking place from the storm. So I say thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that you found it useful.